Hello, everyone, and welcome to this season two, episode three of the Nona Sports Show. I am your host, as always, Edgar Rodriguez. I'm in a little bit of a different setting today. I'm at UCF because we're going to start this show with a very special interview. It's, of course, Richie Thompson. Richie, my man, long time no see. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, boss? Happy to be here.
Happy to have you on, my man. I
It's a
know
pleasure,
you've been
man.
busy. Of course, you're still in Tampa, correct?
Yes, I'm still in Tampa at USF.
That's right. Finishing up there. But thank you for making some time for us. Thank you for coming on the Nona Sports Show because we have so much to talk about, my man. You have been busy. But let's start last summer. Let me take you back to the very special summer we had with
Yeah.
Nona FC.
Mhm.
Talk to me about your emotions coming into the season and how you felt after it. Like, talk me through the whole summer from your perspective.
Uh, it's pretty like vivid for me. It's like it was clear at the start where the recruitment happened. Obviously we have a new coach now, but Dave was a coach last summer, and he had recruited us by coming here to our spring games, and
Okay.
we met with him twice or so because and he showed up and we had a very long conversation. I
Hmm.
think the first time we had met, me and my fellow teammates, and from then I got the vibe, or I got that energy coming from him as a person, as a coach, that it would be a good era for us, where we could take that step to develop a good environment, professionalism, and just to name a few. And stepping in to Nona, I remember when we just started. Obviously there was not everybody did not come in at
Right.
the start, so it was a little bit unsure what was going to happen. And I think there was maybe 2 weeks of preparation that we had, and after the first week of training and just putting in hard work, the team was very good. Like there was so much quality. Like I feel like the coaching staff and the the players made the experience at Nona very, very, top tier for me. I've never played with so much different, teammates,
Hmm.
some coming from the north, east, all over the
All over the
place.
country. Yeah.
And by the second game, we were on 2 wins and, well, a win and a draw.
Right.
And it was just almost perfect. We had our ups and downs, the mistakes we had, but those games that we played, it just felt like a real family. Like we've been playing or training for like 3 months. So I feel like just the emotions portraying to us as a team and the coaching staff was so connected. Um, and it went all the way through the season. Obviously, um, yes, I left earlier than expected because
That's
we
right.
had to come back to USF to train and all of that. So that was kind of saddening. But at the end of the season, they still went to the playoffs, and I was happy for them. I remember my last game I played. I don't remember who it was.
You left us before the Brave game at home, correct?
No, I actually played the Brave game at
You
home.
played that game. That's
Yeah, I
right. That
played
that
the
was your
game.
last game.
That was my last game,
That's
the
right.
Brave
We were
game.
so hyped that you were able to stay for it. Because we
Yes.
all know what happened at the end of that game.
Oh my God, it
We're gonna
was.
t Actually, let's touch on that now. I've asked I interviewed Ivan, Christian, and Slade previously. And I asked them all the question, what was your favorite moment? And
I
they have
would have, yeah,
all
yeah,
said
yeah.
that. Are you gonna make it 4 for 4?
It was that. It has to be
Of
that. It
course.
has to be that. After playing in the season and getting 3-1, first
Away from
round,
home, right.
away, to the Brave team, and obviously we knew that Brave was a team that was the most competitive in our zone,
Our division.
or division.
Right.
So going into that second game at home, representing Nona FC, we knew that it was a game to decide whether we come first or second, just to make it a high percentage of a win,
Right.
And going into that game, man, bro, we were all locked in. Yes, it didn't start off, as clicky, but we were still in. And obviously, they came back and tied the game. And 5 minutes left or less, I think, man, just being there, making that play where Paul scored the winner for 2-1, man, it was. But
Unbelievable, wasn't
man,
it?
unbelievable,
Yeah.
and then what I remember there was the support, like the fans that were there as well. Like it was amazing, just a small atmosphere, and it was just top tier for me. That was my favorite moment. Although I was from just chilling with the boys and having those little fun times with the boys,
Right.
that was the best time. I would say, that's in the Nona experience for me.
I would say I would go as far as saying that's one of the best moments in NONA FC history, man. I mean, that is one of those things that you just will never forget. Even
I'll
like you
never
said,
forget.
we were on field one at Austin Tyndall. We didn't even have the stadium, but we still were
Yep.
able to create that family atmosphere that I
Yep.
think drove the team forward and allowed the team to reach the playoffs again. Every season for NONA FC, we have made the
We
playoffs.
have made the playoffs.
And I think that moment certainly it was one of those things where it's like, yeah, we can actually do this. You know what I mean? We
Yep. Yep.
finally got revenge in a way, right? On Ray.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it was so many storylines heading into that game. And, for that to be the way that we ended our home season,
Mm-hmm.
man, you couldn't have scripted that any better, man.
And it was
It was
just,
meant to be, wasn't it?
I was so happy, but then at the same time, because I remember it was the same night,
Mhm.
12 o'clock, we had to drive down because it was the Monday we had training. And the game was a Saturday.
That's
And we left
right.
the Saturday night. Man, I mean, obviously we were leaving to go to train again, but like, I was waiting for the playoffs because, like, I've been here 3 years right now, and I've played all summers, and I've never been able to go through the playoffs, even if my team was because the last two teams that I played with, we went to the playoffs, and I've never gone.
Oh wow. Wait, so you played USL 2 in the past?
Yes, I've played USF two with
Oh, okay.
in Philadelphia.
Is it Philadelphia Lone Star?
Lone Star, Lone
There you
Star.
go. There you
Yes, my
go.
Lone Star. That was like 4 years ago. So
Oh wow. So you
yeah,
had
that was my
experience at that
first.
level.
That was my first. Yeah, so it was not a hot. It wasn't that crazy though back then because I don't know. I didn't take it that seriously back then, but for me, it was just to keep in shape, train a little bit.
Right.
But then, as you grow older and you know how the USL two competition has become an inaugural part of your professional journey, you had to take it serious, and that's when you have to commit yourself to like teams like Nona FC, where they have the professional setting and this and the connections and all that.
Right.
Just better competitiveness and all that stuff. So yeah.
Wow. Great moments to look back on. Summer of 2024. So let's keep on that same track, right? USL 2, known FC, it's a professional setting, man. Like, all those boys, D1 players from all across the country, whether it was Furman or Notre Dame or Stetson or USF, right?
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
top quality players all coming together for I like to call the USL 2 season a sprint because
It's
it's
a
a
sprint.
12
It's
it's
fast.
12
Man,
it,
it goes
it
like that.
flashes by, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about how that set you up for your USF season, right? It was your senior season. I had the pleasure of being there when you came to our place at
UCL.
UCF. I was the PA announcer for that game.
In that boot.
I,
Ah,
rem-
I heard you.
and you went crazy, bro. I'm gonna
Yeah, that
tell
was a
you,
good
you
game.
had
That was
us
one of my
on
best
lock
games.
that whole game.
Yeah, I did actually.
Talk to me about how USL 2 prepared you for a solid season with the Bulls.
Not gonna lie to you, I think this summer was the most I've been prepared. Like
Really?
as I told you, coming in the first 2 weeks, I know now. I don't know. Maybe they will not know, but how hot it was training
Oh my
in
goodness.
Orlando at the first 2 weeks in May, June.
We're
It was
talking high
crazy.
90s.
It was so high and it was
Yeah.
so hot, but I felt like that was a push for me because I just wanted to go throughout, the tiredness, the heat, because the season is my last season coming up, so I have to go hard. And I feel like I was so prepared. I was so fit. I was like on top of my game. Obviously, we had a lot of numbers there, so we were rotating. Obviously, just to stay injury free, just to keep your energy up there and all that stuff. So, obviously, even that professional, like those mentalities that the coaching staff has, like that helps you to develop as a player because you don't want to go back into the season for your final season injury or like tired
Exactly.
and can't execute those smaller jobs. But so I was so prepared, and I was happy that I entered that era with Nona.
Man, it was so beneficial in so many ways, man. And like you touched on, the quality of the team that we had, I mean, it's rare at that level to even
Yeah.
see such a group of talented, aspiring guys. Because all of you want to make it pro. Of course, we saw Ivan. I'm sure you saw signed with Greenville Triumph
Mm-hmm.
in USL One. Charles went to USL
So,
Championship.
yeah.
That's the goal for all of you guys. And I'm very happy to say that Nona FC was a platform for you. And of course, you had a great USF season. You talked about that mentality that you had going into it. Of course, that happens on and off the pitch, right?
Yeah.
I saw your recent Instagram post. You were recently in Jamaica with Cinco Strong and Football for the World. Richie, what an incredible experience. Just seeing those pictures. I mean, try and if you can. Well, let's start with how did this opportunity come up for you? Let's start at the very beginning.
Yeah, so you know that Cinco Strong is a volunteer company that just supports the community here in Tampa. I mean, it's all over there, but just for this organization. So we have these kids that we try to pursue their dreams, help them train, just accommodate them, show them our skills, just be a mentor to these kids. And I've been working with them and volunteering my time day by day, months. I don't know. It's been a long time I've been working with Single Strong since I've gotten to Tampa, actually. And I felt like it was a gateway to opportunities where I could help others.
Absolutely.
And it was my boss's idea where he was like, how do you think about, or how do you feel about this opportunity where you can give back a little bit, just a donation, because we have a organization that we partnership with, which this is what they do, and usually we just try to help them out in any other way. You can take it up on yourself, and we can help you to collect some, get more donators, and then you can just bring it back to. And it was just like it was the right time where because football for the world does it all over, and it was on this trip in January where they wanted to go back to my hometown
Wow, it's just meant to
without
be.
and it just connected because
Wow.
this is my hometown, and then because who knows it would be then. We had spoken about it and all that, but we just didn't know when it was happening. And then when Football for the World finalized the decision and what they were doing, it just fell right into my arms. And obviously Cinco Strong and obviously the donators, they went all out for it, and I was able to bring back at least 40 pairs of cleats and some equipment, shirts and stuff, just back to my hometown, to my primary school or my elementary school, you would call it here, where that's where I started and everything. So and so forever, I'm forever grateful for that. And it was the first time, I've had dreams and aspirations of giving back somehow, but it's never worked out. And I've been here for 3 years, 4 years, and it just happened. And I'm just grateful because like I don't know how I would have done anything else. And just to build a platform with Cinco Strong and just to put myself out there with them, or for them to help me to put myself out there to show that voluntary service could be of an impact to the world, especially to those who can't. afforded and all that. So back home, man, they were so grateful for it, and I was so happy I was able to do that.
And these are kids who, you know, obviously a few years ago you were in their shoes, right?
Of course.
And you were looking to become in the position that you are now. Same with these kids now. They look up to you. Talk to me a little more about your hometown. Where is it in Jamaica, and what does it mean to you? Try to put that into words.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm originally from Montego Bay, United, Montego Bay,
Okay.
and that's a big city on the west coast of Jamaica.
Right.
And yeah, these kids, I was born and raised in Farm Heights. My mom was originated from the community of Flankers, and that was the community that we went back to, the Flankers community.
Okay.
So my mom had knew because I had even so I didn't have the pictures with her in it, but she was there as well. And like just being there because we moved from Flankers when I was born just to get out of the how would I say it was dangerous,
Okay.
violence. So to
Mm.
grow up somewhere else, I had to go to Formites. But going back there, she knew everybody that was there, like the old people that would come out, the youngsters would be her friends from back in the days, and
Wow.
those, and it was just so happy. She was like, "Yeah, this is my son, and this is him giving back, or this is us giving back in some way." Yes, and like the kids were there and all upon me, like showing the love, I've had. And the biggest strike for me, or the deepest connection for me when I went on that trip was the girls, like females. I saw so much females, um, girls who are between the ages of 7, maybe to 12, 11,
Hmm.
who wants to play. Like they want the gears. They're out there playing us, the trainings. And when I was younger, I did not see girls like attracted to
Right.
soccer, So me going back and seeing that, I was like, this is such a heartwarming moment where I can share where these girls, not only the boys, because we know they are gonna be there 100%, but the girls are putting the effort in to be there to play. Like I feel like there were at least, I could say, 25 girls, only girls
Wow.
that were there playing or who wanted to play. So
Yeah.
I mean, I was overwhelmed. Like it, I didn't even know what to say to them. They were asking so much questions. I just had to smile with them and just play with them because I didn't have the opportunity of, like, getting all of those people who was in my shoes at that time. But it happened now, and I could have impacted them. So it was just
Incredible.
it.
It's incredible. And as you were talking, I see you have a grind frame behind you, and it
Yeah.
that exemplifies it, right? This was a result of your grind, of your persistence, because you already knew you wanted to do this.
Yes.
But isn't it crazy how it just the stars aligned and it was in your hometown, man? I mean,
Yeah. Straight back to my home.
it could not have been any more special for you, I'm sure of that. Um, we don't have too much time left, but I did want to also get a snapshot. What was your day like when you were there? I know you said you played and with them and you gave them the gear and the equipment, but take us through like a full day.
Yeah, so I mean there were 2 days. So I was there for 5 days, and
Okay.
2 days out of the 5 days was for the community activities. So I think the first day I went back to my elementary school, and I was just there from the morning, just greeting the teachers that I've been through for years now.
Wow.
Obviously, some of them remembered me and all of that, and that was it. Talking to the principal and all of that. Then we had maybe 2 hours with just playing. So the elementary school has a soccer team, and we were there where we played with them and against them. So we just, and we were playing there for like maybe 2 hours, man. Like they would not get tired, man. We were just playing until we were just like, all right, here, that's it. Obviously before that we had the announcements, and I was there talking with the in front of the school and gave back, made a presentation of the cleats and stuff with Football for the World, and
Right.
after that was just the soccer and just the playing with all the kids, greeting. Everybody came, hundreds of students just running up and down. Then again, the day finished already came to an end where we just tour the city. I was there with the football for the world. Obviously, there were persons like me who were not from there, so they were just all over. Most of them were from Nebraska, where the
Okay.
organization is from. That's the
Mm,
founding state. So some of them were from there. Some were from Florida, NC, um, Chicago. So I was just showing them around the craft markets in the downtown area, and then just went back to the hotel. The second day was almost similar, but this was the community now. So they had this like a stage, a platform. They knew that we were coming, so we just got there in the morning. All the kids were there waiting us. We got there, got all the stuff out. We made a presentation again to the flankers community. The the manager, or I would say the leader for the community wise for the flankers community was there, and he made the speech and stuff, and we gave back to them obviously again as maybe the first half an hour, everybody trying cleats on and stuff, and then we just move on, transition into a full day of training. So I split them up in groups. It was a lot of kids. I think it was like 50 some kids. So we had to split them up in like 5 groups. And obviously we just went to circuits. So shooting here, there were some skills persons
okay.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so freestylist, world champion freestylist was there. Caitlin, and then you had John that was from Jamaica, who's like top 3 in the world, and so they were there showing their skills, helping them, and then the others. We had a section for the girls as well who just play, and then we teach them how to control the ball. And then at the end of the day, we chose like we got a 10, you know, and then we just played against them for like 30, 45 minutes, and then we got everybody some food, came, all of that stuff. We just got it out
Oh
there, and
man,
and we
brilliant.
and then that was the end of the giveaway or the donations. It was lovely with the kids, man.
So you were busy, is what I
Yeah, I
got.
was,
Yeah, my
man.
goodness.
I would
There,
wake up at 10 o'clock in the morning, and
yeah.
by the time I'm finished playing and giving out everything, it's 5 o'clock.
Wow.
And we
There,
were in the sun the entire time.
wow, I bet that Caribbean heat, man. We think here's
Man,
bad in the Caribbean. Oh my goodness. Um,
was it though?
but yeah, there just aren't enough hours in the day to have
Yeah,
gotten through everything, right? But that's incredible, man. I'm so
yeah,
pleased for you that you were able to give back in such a meaningful way for you. And I'm sure, that's just an experience when 50 years down the road, you're gonna remember that. And
oh,
that
for sure.
that is so special. Before I leave you, Nona FC, let's go back to that, right? Are you planning on coming back this summer, Richie? What can you tell us? What are your summer plans at the moment?
All I can say, it's you're in the plans, or Nona FC is in the plans. Of course, I had a conversation with the new coach already, maybe
Right.
last week, about my opportunities and the possibilities of me coming back. But obviously, as I have aspirations to go professional, so in the next few weeks or so, or in the next month, obviously it's preseason time for all the competitions. So if I get a trial coming up and something comes through, then obviously I wouldn't be there with them. But if not, then I just have to just let him know, hey, this is what's gonna happen, and
Of course.
I could come in, and then I'm gonna be there with the Nona fans. Yeah,
Well, we are going to keep our eyes on any development coming out of the Richie Thompson camp. Once again, my man, it was great catching up with you. I wish we had an hour to just chat because, man, I'm sure there's so many things we weren't able to touch. But thank you so much once again for taking a few minutes out of your day to speak with us. Everyone, that was Richie Thompson, USL2 player from 2024. Stay tuned though, because we're going to be talking Champions League. We're going to preview the Champions League coming up this week, so stay tuned.
Hi there. At Migaloo Pool, we make pool care easy, convenient, and hassle-free. We're your one-stop shop for everything your pool needs. Whether it's regular cleanings, equipment repairs, or even a completely pool remodel, Our experienced team is ready to handle it all. You can trust us to keep your pool sparkling and running perfectly. Looking for supplies? Stop by our Orlando store. It's stocked with all essentials and extras to keep your pool in top shape. With Migaloo Pool, it's all in one place. Professional services, quality supplies, and a team that cares about your pool as much as you do. Let's make pool care simple and enjoyable. Contact us or visit our store and see how Migaloo can make a difference for you.
All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us for segment 2 of this week's Nona Sports Show. Once again, a huge thank you to Richie Thompson for joining us. But look who's here with me in studio for segment 2, Patrick Deleon. How are you, my friend?
I'm super excited to talk about this segment. The interview with Richie, obviously, super awesome. I love what he's doing as well.
Absolutely.
I could really connect with that on a personal level as well. Something that I would like to do in the future. But hopefully we see him back here soon.
Fingers crossed, Patrick.
Yeah.
We saw how electric he was last summer, and for USF, he had a great season as well. But we're going to leave that aside, hopefully. Stay tuned for any announcements. USL 2 players will get confirmed coming up soon. So hopefully Richie is one of them. But let's put our attention on the Champions League, Patrick, because there are going to be 18 games. Yeah, that's right. 18
at the same time, 3 p.m. Eastern.
On Wednesday, man. It's going to be insane. Thankfully, we have the Golasso Show to hopefully stay up to date with everything and keep track of all the goals that are going to be flying in all across Europe. But from those 18, Patrick, we tried our best to pick out the best 4, the ones that have caught our eye the most, and we're going to start in the Netherlands because PSV are taking on a perfect Liverpool.
Yeah, so this is going to be a fun game. PSV-Liverpool should be an exciting matchup. I expect a good chunk of goals, but we'll see. We'll get into our predictions later on.
Something fun is coming up there.
To kind of start things off, PSV, I do like PSV a lot because you've got, Ricardo Pepi, Malik Tillman, Serginho Dest, Richie Ledesma, a lot of Americans there. They're doing a really good job. It's awesome to see domestically and in the Champions League. Liverpool, on the other hand, though, I mean, right now, as we're speaking, they're perfect 7-0-0.
Wow.
They could potentially go a perfect unbeaten 8 straight wins in Champions League. That would be something amazing. And honestly, I expect them to do it.
I think so.
I expect them to do it. I mean, who's gonna? I don't feel like any team can stop them right now. Like, I don't know how many times I've had to say this over and over again. We're talking about Liverpool. I feel like so much already this year or this season, right? It's like, but man, they're just so good right now.
So good.
Salah, Gakpo, Van Dijk.
It's inevitable with Liverpool at the moment. Like we said, 7-0-0. They beat Lille at Anfield last time out in the Champions League. PSV are just out. Well, they're in the playoff zone. They haven't been guaranteed that, though.
They could still drop.
That's
mathematically.
True. That's true.
But,
and if Liverpool go there and win, it's going to get very tight at the bottom for PSV, who have had a solid Champions League campaign. 3 wins, 2 draws, 2 losses. They sit top of the Eredivisie right now, 4 points behind Ajax, who we were just talking off air. Barely get mentioned anymore. In the Netherlands, it's very much a Feyenoord and PSV era. I think Ajax have fallen out of the spotlight. But with Liverpool, like we said, 7-0-0 in the first season of this format. Who would have thought that we might have a team go 100% in this group phase, which throws so many different challenges at you?
And we have to keep in mind, now you're playing every team also once. It's
just
not really
once.
home and away.
Yeah.
You have a nice mixture of teams, both, teams smaller and then really big opponents as well. But, man, Liverpool have delivered on every single front. And I do think they'll come out of this game with we'll go in with my prediction, a 2-1 win to Liverpool, perfect 8-0 record.
I agree. We've seen them beat the likes of Leverkusen 4-0, Madrid 2-0.
Yeah.
PSV, as much as their Champions League campaign can, they can hold their heads high for it. Liverpool are gonna rock there. They're gonna show up and want to get that perfect record. I see a 2-1 win as well. It's gonna be tight. I don't see many goals in it, in terms of difference, in terms of margin. But Liverpool are gonna go there with so much confidence. Huge game to look forward to. Let's jump over to San Siro now. Inter Milan looking to book their place in the top 8 against Monaco, looking to fight for that top 8 spot. We've seen Inter be so solid defensively. They've only conceded 1 goal this whole Champions League campaign. We've seen 5 1-0 score lines for Inter Milan. Do you think Monaco can put a stop to that? It's going to be tough.
It's going to be tough because
Very.
Monaco are also doing pretty solid in Champions League. They're just below the automatic playoffs or
That's
automatic round of 16
They're
spots.
sitting 10th, tied on points with Leverkusen in 8th.
Yeah, they're just right
much can
underneath.
change.
Inter, they look like they're set. They're safe. Mathematically, they're not, but
Yes,
they're safe.
Right.
I do think, though, Inter's going to get the upper hand, and I'm going to go with another 1-0 win because that's just been the story of their Champions League season, just 1-0, 1-0, 1-0. I'm not expecting too much action out of this game, but Monaco, they're a sneaky team. They can be tricky, so who knows. But I do think Inter take this 1-0.
Yeah, I look, that's definitely, a realistic outcome of this game. Monaco, although they've beaten Barca, although they've are coming off the back of a win against Villa at home, San Siro is a different animal. San Siro is going to be a difficult place to go to for a Monaco side who are, of course, going to get into the playoffs. They've done well enough to secure pretty much a place in that playoffs zone. But I think Inter... I'm going to say 2-0, Patrick. I hope there's more than a goal in this match. Like you've said, it started out with a 0-0 at the Etihad against City for Inter. They beat Red Star 4-0. But then after that, 1-0, 4-1-0 victories, and of course that last-minute loss at the Bay Arena against Leverkusen. That's all they've given up. I don't see Monaco going there and scoring, to be honest. I think Inter are going to lock down defensively. Simone Inzaghi has his team with that 3-at-the-back formation. Inter's a pretty solid lock for this match, looking at what is going to happen at San Siro. Like I said, hopefully more than a goal in this game. But in England now, City are in a precarious position going into this match. Going up against Club Brugge, who, look, right now they're on 11 points, City on 8 points. Bruges in that playoff zone, although if they lose, they can get dragged in to where City is right now. There's no guarantees here for Pep's side. I do think, though, City are going to go and I mean, it's a must-win. They have no other option.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a total dogfight, not just for Club Brugge and Manchester City, but all the teams that are below 12 points, from 11 to 8 points. Because you only have Manchester City and Dinamo Zagreb, technically, and Shakhtar Donetsk, that are still able to qualify for those final couple of spots for the playoff round. But it's going to be a total dogfight from all of these games, all of these teams. They're going to be going at it with everything because they know everybody it's a must win. Not even just for like that bottom of the table area, but even still for the automatic spots for the round of 16. But specifically for City and Bruges, City, again, they're in a position that we're not used to seeing them in. And now it's like, oh, they have to have a must win against Club Brugge. That's almost like laughable because it almost feels like they play each other like every other Champions League campaign.
You're right.
City always like demolish them or something. But now it's like, can they pull it off this time? Because Club Brugge, understand it, with at least, actually, I can't even say at least a draw, they're safe. Because they also have to win in this scenario to really guarantee their safety.
True. But I think a draw favors Bruges.
Yes.
Because City, with a draw, it's not enough to pull them out of that zone.
No, it's not.
And I have a feeling that Bruges are just going to go there, set up with a bank of 5, a 5-4-1, or just 2 walls of 5 even. I wouldn't be surprised to see that. And just try to hit City on the counter. I think it's going to be one of those games where City have 75% of the ball. They're gonna dominate possession on that aspect, but it's going to be when they get into that final third spot, will Holland be firing? Will the likes of Savinho, Grealish, Doku, they are going to be the ones that City are going to rely on. And they have no other option, like I said, but to show up and take down Bruges, because if they don't make it out of the Champions League, City won this competition 2 years ago, and just to see this downfall is so surprising.
Yeah, it's going to definitely be a scrappy one, just from the perspective of Club Brugge. They're definitely going to, I would expect them to go all in defensively, kind of put their marbles on that, and then hope for the best, a draw minimum, and hope that's enough if they get that result. But I'm still going to have to go in favor of City for this one. I do think it's going to be 2-0. 2-0 City. Again, they've always had the upper hand, I feel like, against Club Brugge. I don't see Club Brugge holding out for a whole 90 minutes against Manchester City, even though the City side isn't the best City side we've seen. Well, on paper they should be.
They should.
But
they should.
on the field,
season,
they haven't been
right.
the best side we've seen. So I do think they'll be able to break through those lines and get 2 goals in. I think so. It's gonna be very interesting to watch these games at the bottom, though.
I don't see City coming out with a clean sheet.
Okay.
I'm going to say 3-1 City. They've just been leaking way too many goals. For me, I think Bruges can at least pick off 1 or 2 chances that they might get.
Yeah.
We've seen how just frail the City backline has been this season. So I'm going to go 3-1 City. I think they go there and win, but by no means a guarantee for the Blues as they hope to secure their spot into the playoff round. Of course, those matchups are going to be decided after this. So much to be decided. But the last one we wanted to highlight, Patrick, is in France, where Brest are playing Real Madrid, the reigning champions of the of the UEFA Champions League. Real Madrid, ever since they lost to the Barca in the Supercopa, they have all of a sudden gone into this incredible goal-scoring form.
Right, and now they're finally starting to click.
Yeah, the front
we've
three.
just seen Mbappe kind of slowly come to life now.
His first hat-trick in La Liga.
Yes,
against
exactly.
Valladolid.
Exactly. So we see him slowly coming back to life, looking natural now, like where that's what we expected him from the beginning, right? Brest, they've had a great Champions League season. They did start off really strong in the beginning. They've kind of slowly moved down. Now they're sitting at 13th with 13 points. Madrid are behind them at 16 with 12 points. So this is going to be very, very tough to call, I think. Because
Real Madrid have a chance of sneaking into the top 8 now that I look at it.
Both teams do.
They do.
But
they do.
Real Madrid, if they finally take this form that they've been in and translate it into this final Champions League match day, they could potentially sneak into that top 8. Will that happen? It's so hard because there's not enough space to distance yourselves from everybody. Everybody's so close and come back together. It's so hard to tell where anybody could possibly land. From Inter down, that entire landscape could shift with this next match day.
Completely.
4 new teams could be. We don't know. But Brest, I do think they're going to be at home. Madrid, they haven't been as solid as we'd expect them to be in Champions League either. Kind of similar to City, right? Because again, Real Madrid. You think of Champions League, you think of Real Madrid, right?
Oh, 100%.
And it's going to be hard. It's definitely going to be hard. I do think, though, that Real Madrid will still get the win with this, unfortunately for Brest. I do think Brest, they're fine. They'll still advance.
Be in the playoffs.
They'll be in the playoffs at least, which is not something they should be proud of.
That's a success for them, right?
This is something they should be proud of.
That's a success. Going into this Champions League, they would have thought, we're going to be scrapping around that elimination zone.
No,
kind of where Zagreb are, right? Where City are.
Right.
But they're 13th. They're safe.
They're safe.
Ish.
I mean, they will be. Realistically, I don't see them falling enough results going against them that they fall out of favor, right? But Madrid, I do think they'll still get the job done. It is Real Madrid. Kylian Mbappe is clicking. Their offense is clicking. So I'm going to go with like a 3-1 Madrid. 3-1 Madrid. Brest with a consolation goal.
Yeah, I can see that happening. Look, their last Champions League game was not good. Away at Shakhtar, losing 2-0, and Shakhtar are out, right? They've gotten eliminated. We saw them lose to Barca 3-0, but we've also seen them grab a point against Real Madrid, grab a point against Leverkusen at home. I just think, Madrid going into this game are in too hot going into it. Mbappe scoring his first hat-trick in La Liga, and I saw a stat that said Ronaldo's first season, right? Because, of course, inevitably, he's going to be compared to CR7.
Right.
His first Real Madrid hat-trick in La Liga came in May of his first season. For Mbappe, it's come in January. Do you read anything into that? I mean, of course, Mbappe, so much attention has been put into him, but it looks like he's finally coming good in that striker's role for Real Madrid.
I mean,
although, it's, of course, on, it's... More drama gets put when it's Mbappe involved.
Oh, yeah, of course. But I think finally now that's like what everybody was expecting from the beginning anyway. From like day one, almost like, okay, you need a hat trick in your first game. Just because of, what we see him do for France and playing for PSG, even when he was at Monaco, right? We saw all these things. And now, slow start for sure. But as long as he keeps improving every passing week, which he clearly has been, Real Madrid are now more legitimate contenders, not only for La Liga, but Champions League as well.
Right.
So.
No, 100%. I see a 4-1 win, Patrick. I see Real Madrid going there and scoring and at least having a three-goal margin to Brest. Yes, like we've said, they've had a great Champions League campaign, but I just don't see Real Madrid slowing up now. They've scored 5s, 4s, and 3s.
Yeah.
Ever since they lost to Barcelona, like I said, in the Supercopa. So I don't see that stopping on Wednesday. It's going to be very close.
Yeah.
The reason we've been saying the exact scores, by the way, Patrick, is because we were going back and forth about this recently, and we have decided to add a competitive edge whenever we preview games. So we're going to, of course, recap what we thought happened, what actually happened in next week's show. But for each score prediction that we get right, so exactly right. If we end up getting, a score right, we will get 5 points. Okay, you'll add 5 points to your tally. If you predict the correct team to win, you'll get 3.
You'll get 3.
You did good enough. Not perfect, but you did good enough. So you get 3 points. If you get the prediction wrong, you'll get 0 points. And we're gonna tally up these points. Let's put the cutoff to when USL 2 starts. Okay, so we don't go the whole year and end up with like thousands of points, right? We're going to
or none.
Fingers crossed, knock on wood, that doesn't happen. But we're going to tally up the points the show before USL 2 kicks off. And then there is a little bit on the line, Patrick. Do you want to go into
I think we should say that for later.
Okay, let's keep it a surprise.
It's something that we're not excited about.
No. So we want to win this. There's a lot on the line for us. So fingers crossed.
Yes.
We know what we're talking about, right? But we do have a couple more minutes left in this segment. Let's run through some of the other games that we didn't touch on in depth. Stuttgart against PSG. It's another battle, Patrick.
Oh yeah.
Just briefly,
just at
the bottom there.
Ooh, that I honestly kind of overlooked that one. Now that I think about it, Stuttgart. I mean, I'd love to see them make it to the next round because they did really well in the Bundesliga last season. We saw they finished second?
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, and PSG
ahead of Bayern.
Yeah, and PSG,
incredibly.
For example, PSG, they've also been pretty, well, I guess not surprisingly, but pretty mid in
the Champions League.
That's what they do, right?
But then they beat City.
But then they beat City 4-2, right?
Right?
Now we're in this huge, interesting predicament with these. They're all just back to back to back. It feels like so. Stuttgart. Ooh, that's gonna be a hard one.
Very difficult game to call. I wouldn't be surprised if in Germany Stuttgart win by the odd goal. To be honest,
I do think that Stuttgart will come out on top of this, and I do think PSG will get eliminated.
No PSG, says Patrick Deleon.
Yeah, no PSG. I do think
the headline.
Yeah, I don't think PSG will come out on top of this one, just because playing away in Germany, especially Stuttgart, they have such great support. Also, I think they feel more comfortable at home than on the road. So I'm going to go with Stuttgart on this one as well.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you on that one. Another big one in Italy, in Spain, Atalanta going to Barca. Now, that one is also a big one. We've seen Barca. We've talked about them plenty. Almost like 2 seasons at once. In the Champions League, great. La Liga, not so much, although they thrashed Valencia 7-1.
Yeah.
Incredible how Barca are just so up and down. But in the Champions League, at Montjuic, I think Atalanta go there, and it's going to be tough for them to pick anything up.
Yeah, and Barcelona, they're also sitting pretty comfortably at second. They're obviously advanced already to the next round. Atalanta are looking to kind of solidify their safety in avoiding the...
They're 7th at the moment.
Right, they're looking to solidify their safety from playing those extra 2 games that you really want to avoid, especially with how just congested these seasons are getting every year, right?
Yeah.
So there's more at stake because of that. And Atalanta, they're a really fun team to watch as well,
They
especially in Italy. Very fun. But Barcelona right now, Champions League, I think they'll get the job done.
Isn't it?
I think they'll get the job done. I don't expect them because they could still potentially, if Liverpool lose, they could still jump into that finish at the top of the table. But I don't think they'll let go of the gas just yet. I think they're going to really finish this campaign as strong as they can. But I do see Barcelona walking away with a win on this one as well.
I agree. And just lastly, before we wrap things up, Juve, Benfica. Now, of course, we saw Benfica come out of a 5-4 loss. So unlucky.
Yeah,
if you're
against
gonna
Barcelona.
Against Barca, of course.
What a game, though. What a game.
If you put yourself in Benfica's shoes, you're going to be asking yourself, how in the world did we lose? A game where they were 3-1 up. They were leading also 4-1 or 4-2 at one point. And Barca just came roaring back. Yeah. No one would have seen it happening at halftime, right? Against a Juve side who lost their first game
in league play. Yeah, finally, right?
So interesting. Right. The two teams' mentalities going into this one.
I know it's like a weird mix of emotions. I feel like
it will
all
be.
Squads. I mean, Juventus could still sneak into top 8 potentially.
Benfica's still at risk of getting eliminated as well. It's so much at stake, man.
It's just such a close. The table's so close, and all the teams. It's impossible to predict. You literally cannot predict anything with this format. It's insane. At least with the group phases, right, from the prior format. Yeah. It was like, you kind of already knew who was going to go. You could tell just by looking at a group who was going to go through, right? With this, it's been the complete opposite. It's been like, oh, wow, like you really can't tell who could still get eliminated, who can still advance, who's going to fall in between, the playoff spots. Right. Ooh, Juventus Benfica. I do think Juventus will walk away with this one. But, a 1-0.
Right. Not much in it again. I like all these games are going to be so eye-capturing. Like I said, Wednesday at 3, I think everyone's going to be glued to their TVs because you won't want to miss a single action. You blink, you'll miss a goal somewhere in the 18 matches going on. But we did our best to cover at least, half of the games. I don't even think we got to half of the games. But, man, it's going to be so fun. And you brought up a great point. Like, in the previous format, sometimes the group was decided by match day 6, and it's like, why are we playing, right? But now all to play for in the Champions League. But Patrick, unfortunately, that is all the time we have for this week's Nona Sports Show. Thank you once again for joining me. Like we said, so much Champions League action. Enjoy all the games. We'll be back next week to, again, do our best to recap everything that's going to go down this Wednesday. But until next time, take care.